Hey guys, here with Josh Ortiz. We're going to talk about some Borneo shorttails, something you guys are more familiar with. And actually, these babies that he's going to show you and the adults, I have a baby from, well, not a baby anymore, she's a 2016. She might even be on the channel, you'd have to look back, I can't remember, but I do have a snake from this pairing. So it's kind of cool that I'm here while these babies are hatching. There's more that have not hatched yet. That are taking forever, but these are the ones that are out, so we'll show you these so far. Take it away.
Yeah. So most people know me for lizard breeding, but I actually do breed a decent amount of snakes, and I was actually a dedicated snake breeder for a while before I bred lizards. Anyway, so we bred that VPI Ultra Bright to a VPI Ultra Bright, and which is a Borneo shorttail, and we have some really interesting babies here. The only 4 out so far. We have at least 8 more that are in the eggs. But we figured since Dan is here and Dan's really into Borneos like I am, we could show off some of these here. So this actually, this clutch looks way different than ones I've produced previously. The coloration is a lot lighter for certain babies. They're a bit more reduced. Like this one right here is really reduced, has a peach color head, reduction by the tail.
The head's not going to show up as nice as it is in person ever, I know from experience. But hopefully you can see looking at the two how much different the head is, and it almost doesn't show up on this. But this one here is very, very, very peach.
Yeah. And this kind of like floating tail thing, I have seen that in Borneos many times, but when I do ultra bright pairings, I usually don't get kind of that when it starts to float at the end. And this one, how it starts out striped, and it's more of a broken pattern, and then it just keeps on reducing from start to finish. So that's really interesting. And that's how it is with Borneos. I mean, you could breed the same pairing 5 times and have, you know, totally different results every time. So that's why, to me, out of all the short tails, Borneos are my favorite. So
yeah, I always say that they're my favorite to breed. I think I'm a Sumatran guy as far as favorite overall, but breeding wise, there's almost nothing snake wise that I've ever bred that takes the cake like they do.
Yeah, with Sumatrans, I really like the jet black ones.
Yeah.
But I guess I like the polymorphism that you could get with Borneos. So this run here, right here, there's more of a, not standard, there's no such thing as a standard Borneo, but this is a look I see pretty commonly in the Borneos Ultra Brights I produced in the past. So when you have a bit of a darker pattern surrounding right here, and you have that light dorsal, you have some regions that are a bit linear, but not quite striped, and you see a pretty, not uniform, but pretty similar pattern throughout. So this one looks similar to ones I've produced in the past, but a lot of these other ones, these other 3 are just really, really funky. And that's why I'm looking forward to seeing the other 8 that are in there. In a second, we're actually gonna pull mom and dad, so you guys can have an idea. Because mom and dad look so different from one another, and that's probably another reason, because in addition to these guys being Borneos that show a lot of variety, if you have 2 parents that look pretty dramatically different from one another, that, you know, further makes it more likely you'll have different results. You see this here? It almost is like it wants to be like a motley kind of, right? Yeah. Like a motley type pattern that you would see in like a corn snake or boas and things like that. It almost has that motley-ish type appearance in the beginning. And then you see it go to more of a standard coloration, and then you see it break down more. So it's really interesting. The color's interesting.
The worst part about breeding Borneos, though, is every single one looks cool, and you can find things on every baby that you're like, oh, this is really awesome. I can work a whole project with this, and then you end up like me with a million of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're the hardest ones to sell for me. I usually wind up hoarding lots of Borneos. So, I mean, I'm not Matt Minatola level with hoarding, but I mean, and Matt's an awesome breeder. Matt's honestly probably my favorite snake breeder. He has an amazing, amazing collection of my favorite species of snake.
Yep. I always use him as the example too when people call me a hoarder. I'm like, hey, I'm not Matt, you know.
Yeah, he has like a lot of nice stuff. You just ask him.
I don't blame him, because I look at it and I look at his clutches and I'm like, okay, there's 12 babies there and I have to keep 11 of them. So it's like, what the hell do you do? You know?
No, he has a nice collection. He's a nice guy, and he's like a gifted breeder. So,
yeah.
Anyways, so there's a lot of nice ones here so far. Like I said, we have a lot more left in the egg. Unfortunately, they're not out yet.
I know,
so,
we've waited to do this video, but I'm leaving tomorrow, so
yeah.
I was joking we're going to go back inside and they're going to be pipped when
you're on the plane. They're all going to be out.
They're going to be out.
It's going to be record-breaking time. They're going to pip and be out the egg. That's the way it works, right?
Like 6 hours.
Yeah. There's 2 times I took vacations for like weekend trips, and my black dragons hatched out my first 2 clutches.
Yeah.
Anyways, so a lot of interesting looks, a lot of different looks in the same clutch, and these are only 4 babies. Like I said, we literally have double the amount still left to come out, and hopefully some of the colors on these heads do come out, because I mean that's a really unique peach-looking head there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It looks. This is the 4th time I've produced from these particular parents, and every time it's been a bit different. But so far, I mean, just with these 4 alone, I'm really happy with the results. I mean, this one is just really kind of blowing me away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like that one. And I like the darkness of that one with the peach head.
Yeah.
It just sucks. Even if you look down at the camera right now, you can see it just doesn't pick it up in the same way.
It's always like a lighting thing. We have pretty good lighting in here, but
Yeah.
still, it's one of those things. So. But yeah. Anyway, so. I don't know if that helps, but it makes it worse if anything. This light. All right, so I'm gonna cover these guys because I'm gonna grab the parents.
Yeah.
And you can talk Borneos for a sec while I grab the parents. So the mom obviously laid the eggs about 2 months ago, and then the dad. We'll show the dad first, if anything. So we'll leave these guys here. I'll be right back.
Yep. Your golden child looks hungry still.
Yeah.
He was following you. You know, we were talking, we were filming this about that big girl up top there, and how people were going to see her in the background and go, oh my God, she's wedged. But those cages are actually dividable, so that whole top area there is hers. She just chooses to stay wedged over there like that. We were joking about it before the thing, trying to move her a little bit, and she just wants to sit over there. But she does have that whole space.
Yeah, she's.
So this
It's
is
a weird
the father.
animal. Yep, so this is the dad right here. So I'm gonna pull out the mom in a bit, but his colors are really nice, and you can see how he has that linear pattern starting out, and the color of his head is just that peach color.
I feel like the baby that I have from you is heading towards looking like him.
Yeah.
She's probably got a little bit cleaner sides, I think, a little bit less going on,
Yeah.
but similar with that slate gray, like real nice, you know, that Ultra does. I like those, like, Ultras like that. Like, he's really nice.
Yep. And you see how his tail was kind of like reduction of pattern
Yeah.
towards the end. And a lot of his babies actually wind up even lighter than him. So they wind up with patterns, not all of them, they're polymorphic, but they'll wind up with similar patterns to him and be lighter. Not all of them, but a good portion of the babies wind up being lighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a gorgeous animal. He struggles with his weight, so I usually have to put him on diet, but now he's doing pretty decent.
Hey, he looks in good shape. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, so I like his head color, that pattern starting out there, kind of linear, breaking up gradually.
Yeah, I like the neck flecking and stuff on him. Is really cool too.
Yeah. And he's a 2000 and either 13 or 14 animal. And he sired 4 clutches all to that female, and I just really like the Ultra Bites, and I like what they throw.
Yeah.
This pair, so that's why I usually do this pair quite a few times actually. So, but yeah, so I'll put him back and I'll grab mom.
Okay. It's a lab over there. Really cool cage design though, because the dividers slide right out, so it's really easy to divide a cage. Or if you have like a snake that happens to be a jerk, you can move them to one side, clean the other side, move them and do that, which helps too. None of these guys are jerks though. I don't know because when I was here 2 years ago, I cleaned a bunch of them myself, so I know they're all pretty cool. Mama.
So this is mom. She's laid a clutch. Obviously, she laid this clutch about 2 months ago, so her weight is still recovering, but she's getting there, and then soon she'll be perfect.
I was gonna say, it's not hard to get short tails to put their weight back on. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, and I don't want to rush it too much. I mean, she's getting it slowly but surely, and this is the way I do it every year, and every year works out really well.
Yeah.
I don't like stuffing their faces too much. But yeah, so you see her. So she has a pretty contrasting look compared to the male. She has more of a yellow face. She has a clearer pattern to the top, It's linear again, so you see it kind of boxy, but then with the striping on the side. And then she goes to a darker look on the back, but pretty reduced. And then she has more of a striped look towards the tail with really nice sides as well. And then you see at the end of the tail, it's almost completely striped.
Yeah.
So she has a really interesting look. And even though her and the male are pretty similar, there is enough differences that there's a lot of polymorphism in their clutch. And that's honestly just Borneos in general are pretty polymorphic. But then when you have two animals within a polymorphic species that look different themselves, you get a lot of variety. And Borneos, to me, it is my favorite snake, at least the favorite snake that I keep. They have a perfect size. In general, they have excellent temperaments. I like the fact that they don't like it too warm. I usually keep mine from about 78 degrees to 82, with for me 82 being ideal. I keep most of them at ambient, except gravid females. I put heat on them. That's not the only way to keep them. There's plenty of people that keep them differently than me, with success. But to me, I don't know. A lot of people find them a little challenging to keep, but to me, they're very, very easy to keep.
I keep mine almost exactly like you just described. Yeah. I was laughing when you were talking about they're usually docile. I could hear your skunk line male in there banging on his bin going, hey, what about me?
Oh yeah, no, he's a problem child.
We all have our one. Mine's my ocelot male and he hates my guts.
No, he needs to see a therapist. But yeah, and they don't eat often either. So I try my best not to feed these guys that often at all. I really don't go according to a schedule, and that's the case with pretty much all of my snakes. I really don't like feeding them every Friday or anything like that. Maybe with babies, yes, animals like under a year old. But once an animal is either breeder size or pretty close to breeder size, I really go by the look of the animal. Because you have different animals during different times of the year, or depending on their individual metabolism, that grow at different rates. And for example, if I fed this animal at the same rate that I fed my super striped marble that I have, this animal would actually be pretty fat. So you can't feed two animals at the same exact rate necessarily, because they have different metabolisms. This animal has a slower metabolism than that super striped marble, and I just go by the look of the animal. So in general, they wind up getting fed maybe every 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, but that works out really well for me.
Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing, and I tell people all the time, like, the calendar is not really your friend for feeding. You know, you've got to feed to the animal because, like you said, I mean, every animal's different. You can have clutch mates, and just their activity level, something genetically is just different. Like, everyone's different. It's no different than you could have siblings, and you and your siblings could eat the same diet and exercise the same, but you could end up in a different structure just because the genetics are a little bit different, your metabolism's a little bit different.
And the thing with these guys too is that it's hard to get the weight off.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've had some males that I've received, as adults. I usually raise up animals from babies, but on the occasion I get adults that are overweight, and it's very difficult to get the weight off. So it's easy for them to put weight on and very difficult to take off. So, but yeah, so she's doing well. She made some beautiful babies. I can't wait till the rest of them are out.
Yeah, hopefully you'll post them and send me them so I can see them.
For sure.
All right, guys, we'll cut this one short. So those are Ultra Bright Borneo Shorttails. A lot of the stuff that I breed has Ultra floating around in it. So a lot of babies that you see, snakes like Orion, Callisto, Astra, they all have that floating around. Their mom Electra has it floating around in her. So it's all over in my Borneo projects. It's almost hard for me to produce something that doesn't have Ultra in there somewhere. But I do have some stuff, obviously my Blue Ghost stuff, I keep it separate, and a few other things. But hopefully you guys enjoy these. We'll see you.